Good morning, yogis. My name is Daniel. This is Daniel Lee Yoga, and thank you for joining me for practice today. Today, I'm actually outside. This week, I'm at the beach in North Carolina, down here in Duck, North Carolina, if those of you are familiar with the area. And I thought it would be fun to record classes outside. And normal times that classes are released are 7 p.m. And that's a little late for as far as the sun pretty much goes down. So if you are watching this live, it is a pre-recorded class from earlier in the day. I'm out here Friday morning. So happy Friday if you are watching this when it premieres at 7 p.m. or around that time, Friday evening. Hope you've had a wonderful week. And if you're watching at any other time, welcome and hope you've had a wonderful day. Now, for classes this week, we've been focusing on the low back area. It's a common issue or challenge with a lot of people, and this week we've been targeting that area, focusing on lots of twisting and core engagement to protect and open up that area safely. So we'll be continuing that in class today with our all levels Vinyasa focus class. So all levels, it's good for beginners, intermediate, advanced. I'll provide lots of modifications along the way so that you'll definitely get a class that works for you. It's 60 minutes long, and with it being Vinyasa based, we'll definitely move our way through our poses and our sequences, warming up the body and just getting a nice full workout in. So I hope you've had a wonderful day and are ready to get started. No props are really being used, but you can keep blocks and straps nearby if you typically use them in your practice. So I think we're all set to get started. Meet me on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. From this position, bring your knees to touch and your feet out wide. Just keep your arms down by your sides, palms face down. Try to gently press your feet into the mat so you lift your hips up just an inch or two and then draw your tailbone down towards the bottom edge of the mat and then release your spine back on the mat. The idea here is to have as much of your spine on the mat as we begin practice. And so while you lie here, begin by starting to focus on the breath. Notice how it flows in and out of your body, maybe through your nostrils, maybe through your mouth. And once you've started to take notice, begin to deepen your breathing. Start by making the exhales a little bit longer than the inhales. And when you inhale, fill up the entire chest. Ribs expand, belly rises. And on your exhale, try to release everything out of your body as your belly falls. Just keep taking nice, slow, deep breaths, allowing yourself to transition into your practice, into your present. So I am outside today by the beach. It's possible we may have some interruptions with either people or creatures that might decide to show up. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what the environment brings us today. But it is a wonderful day out here on the beach. Just take two more nice, slow, deep breaths. All right, now if your eyes were closed, just gently start to blink your eyes open, separate your knees out wide, and heel toe your feet and knees back to hips with distance. Bring your ankles underneath your knees so the knees are right on top of the ankles. Maybe the fingers graze the backs of the heels. Place your arms down to the side, nice and long, palms face down. You're getting practice with some dynamic bridge poses. So press down through your feet, take a nice deep inhale, and on your exhale, lift the hips up, pelvis up, chest up, bridge pose. Gently release back down from the top of your spine, low back last to arrive. So now on your inhale, let's lift up this time, hips up, pelvis up, chest up. Exhale, gently release, top of the spine, low back last to arrive. Two more times. Inhale as you lift your hips, pelvis, chest up. And exhale as you gently lower. One more time. Press down through the feet. Inhale, lift up into bridge pose. And exhale, gently release. Four more times just like that, or we'll add the arms. So on your inhale, lift the hips up, pelvis up, chest up. If you choose, arms overhead, palms face each other, thumbs down, pinkies up. And on your exhale, release everything back down to where we started. Three more times. Inhale, lift the hips up, pelvis up, chest up, maybe arms overhead. And exhale, gently release. Two more times. Pressing down through the feet. Inhale, lifting everything up. Palms face each other as the arms come over the head. Exhale, gently release. One more time. Pressing down through the feet. Inhale, lifting up, arms overhead. And exhale, releasing the arms back and down. Gently release here. Bring your knees back together, feet wide, arms down to your side. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. One more inhale and exhale. All right, now start to separate your knees and your feet back to hips with distance. Let's draw both knees into your chest, wrapping your hands around your shins or your thighs, and gently start to just go from side to side, rolling on that low back, giving it a gentle massage here. And meet me back to center in stillness. Keep hugging the right knee into your chest. Extend and straighten that left leg straight out, releasing the left heel to the mat. Flexing both toes, spinning this inner left thigh in and down to keep the left knee and toes facing up towards the sky. Draw that right knee in towards your chest as you extend and straighten that left heel away from your body, holding for one more breath. And exhale, let's switch. Draw the left knee in this time, extend and straighten that right leg straight out, releasing the right heel to the mat. Drawing that left knee in as you extend and straighten that right heel away from the body. Try to spin that inner right thigh in and down towards the mat that keeps the knee and the toes facing up towards the sky. Holding for one more breath here. And exhale, draw both knees into your chest. Bring your knees over your hips and your shins parallel to the mat. Flex both feet and bring your knees and your feet together so you're in this 90-degree angle. Extend your arms out to a T, palms face up. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. Now, before we move, again, targeting that low back area, a great way to prevent injuries is to strengthen the muscles, the abdominal muscles in and around that area. A lot of times what will happen if you're more weak there, the low back will take over. So, a lot of twists today and a lot of core engagement. So while we're here, draw the navel in and down to reduce the arch in that low back. That already starts to engage the muscles. Now we're adding a twist, so try to keep your shoulders on the mat, and we're twisting just from below the navel, letting our knees fall from side to side. So take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, let the knees drop off to the right, holding just for a half breath. So on your inhale, bring the knees back up to center. Exhale, other side, drop to the left. So inhale back to center. Exhale to the right. Inhale back to center. And exhale to the left. Do two more times each way, trying to keep the shoulders rooted the entire time. So the knees don't need to touch the mat. We're just working to bring some twists and some awareness into that low back, seeing how it feels as we start to move. After you've finished your last one, come back to center, hug those knees back into your chest, give them a gentle squeeze. And now we'll have the option to repeat that. So re-extend your arms out, palms face up. Bring your knees back over your hips, flexing the feet, knees and the feet together. Option to repeat that just like we did with the knees bent. If you want a little more of a challenge, begin to straighten your legs, flexing the feet, bottoms of the feet face up towards the sky. So inhale to prepare, draw that navel in and down. Exhale, drop the legs off to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, legs off to the left. If you feel like this is too much for you, just go back to knees bent. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left. 2 more times each way. Keep pressing the arms into the mat to keep those shoulders rooted. Really using the core here to twist and start to bring some heat, some awareness into that low back. Let's do 1 more time each side. And then meet me back in center once you've finished. Draw the knees back into the center of your chest. Wrap your hands around your shins or your thighs. Give a nice gentle squeeze again. And exhale. All right, we're coming back up to tabletop now. So begin by crossing your feet. If you're one that likes to roll up and down your spine a couple times, hold on to the backs of your thighs. Keep your chin tucked and gently rock up and down your spine a couple times. Coming forward, crossing your legs, rolling over your knees into tabletop, or just let your legs fall off to the side. Meet me in your tabletop. Now from here, let's curl the toes under, lifting the torso up, send the hips back on the heels, and come to a seat. If this is too uncomfortable to keep your toes tucked, you can bring the tops of your feet to the mat, sit your hips on your heels. And if it's just too early for that, you can come to just a nice normal cross-legged seat. So find your seat that works for you. We'll begin just by working the wrist out for practice. So let's intersect the fingers together up to the webbing, bring the base of the wrist together, and maybe the elbows touch. And gently start to make some circles or really some figure 8 or like an infinity symbol with your wrists. Always good to warm the wrists up for practice. Just be gentle here, but begin to slow and move in the opposite direction. Warming up the wrists. Coming back to stillness, let's separate the fingers. Now, bring the backs of the hands to touch and gently start to make some circles in one direction. So the idea here is to try to keep the base of your wrist touching as you move in your circles this way. I think a lot of people have tried to name this movement, but it's hard to put a name to it. All right, let's switch directions, going the opposite way. Always have to be mindful to try not to hit my chin as my fingers come through. Just take it nice and slow. And meet me back in stillness, and we'll come back to that tabletop position. So, releasing your arms forward, bring your wrists underneath your shoulders, knees underneath the hips, tops of the feet to the mat. Fingers nice and spread, firming the triceps in, pressing down to the base of each finger and each palm. Gently pressing the tops of the feet into the mat and hug that navel in and up to create a nice long spine. Chin is slightly tucked. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. Moving into our cow-cats. On your inhale, drop the navel, tailbone lift, heart forward, look up. And exhale, rounding the back, shoulder separate, head hangs heavy, cat pose. Keep moving on your breath. So you inhale as you drop the navel, tailbone lift, heart forward, look up. Exhale, round the back, shoulders separate, cat pose. 2 more times on your breath. Use this as an opportunity to connect your breath to your movement. Let your breath give your body the direction it needs. Allow it to set the pace here. And once you finish that last cat pose, meet me back in a nice neutral spine, back in your tabletop. Now, keep firming the triceps in, shift a little weight into the left arm, and extend the right arm out to the side. Now notice if your hips or your shoulder came up, try and reroute down so that your right shoulder is still level with the left, same as your hips. So right palm faces down. Adding a twist here, so take a nice deep inhale to prepare. And exhale, twist from the navel up, bring the right fingertips up to the sky. Open the chest. Take a nice deep inhale here. And exhale, release and send the right arm underneath the left. So right shoulder drops, right arm comes through, right palm faces up. We'll inhale as we bring the right fingertips out and back up to the sky. And exhale, send them under. 2 more times, just like that. Press down through the left arm. Inhale as you raise the right fingertips to the sky. Exhale, send that right arm under, palm faces up. One last time here. Inhale, fingertips to the sky. And exhale, send that under. So gently release back down into your tabletop. Recenter your hips and your shoulders. Let's switch to the other side. So extend the left arm out to the side, palm faces down. Take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, send the left fingertips up to the sky. Stay for a breath here as you take a nice deep inhale. And exhale, send that left arm under, dropping the left shoulder, left palm faces up. Inhale as you bring the left fingertips back up to the sky, palm faces away. Exhale, send it under. Keep that palm facing up 2 more times. Inhale, left fingertips to the sky. Exhale, send that left arm under. 1 more time as we raise the left fingertips up to the sky. And exhale, send that left arm under. Come back into your tabletop. Make sure your knees and the tops of your feet are still hips width distance. We'll move back into child's pose. So send the hips back towards the heels. If you prefer another version of child's pose with your knees wide or your big toes touching, choose what works for you. Just keep your arms extended out long. Release your forehead down to the mat. If that forehead doesn't quite reach, you can lift your hips up off your heels, or you can place a block or a towel, or roll up your mat underneath your forehead. Just allow yourself to take a nice couple slow, deep breaths here in your child's pose. I know that this is always a pose and an option for you if you need some time to rest or recover or regroup during practice. Just allow this to be nice and restorative, taking the version that works for you. Just take 2 more slow, deep breaths here. All right, let's lift the forehead up just a couple inches. We'll walk the hands off to the right side of the mat. Then release your forehead back down to the mat. So adding a little side lean here in our child's pose, you have the option to stay here. Otherwise, send the right arm behind. Internally rotate, bring the back of the right hand to the low back. Next option, if you like, add your bind. Right arm comes a little bit farther across. Maybe it tucks into that left thigh. You can stay here with your forehead on the mat, or you can add your twist. So lift your forehead off the mat, draw the right shoulder back, maybe the gaze comes up towards the sky. Wherever you are, hold for 2 nice, slow, deep breaths. Come back to your breathing wherever you are. And exhale as you gently release that forehead, untuck the right fingertips if you have them. Everyone re-extend both arms straight out and walk yourself back to center, lifting your forehead back up. And we'll move off to the other side. So now walk your hands off to the left side of the mat. Release your forehead back down on the mat. Option 1, stay here. Option 2, send the left arm behind you, internally rotate back the left hand to the low back. And final option, maybe you go a little further, left fingertips tuck under the right thigh. Stay here, or if you'd like, add your twist. Open that left shoulder out and back. Try to roll the right ribs under. Maybe the gaze comes up towards the sky. Holding for 2 breaths wherever you are. 1 more breath. Now gently release your forehead back down. Re-extend both arms out, coming back to center wherever you are. And now keep your forearms on the mat, shoulder width distance, and lift your hips up off your heels. Bring your knees back underneath your hips. We're now in our forearm tabletop here. So make sure those knees and those feet are hips width distance. Elbows are directly underneath the shoulders with the forearms and the palms shoulder width distance. It's easy to let the chest fall here. So again, just like in our tabletop, draw that navel in and up. Slight tuck of the chin, gazes in between the fingers. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. Let's work our cow-cats while we're here. So inhale, drop your navel, tailbone lift, heart forward, look up. Exhale, round the back, cat pose, shoulders separate, head hangs heavy. Keep moving 3 more times each way. Notice how this is different from your full tabletop. You might have a little bit less mobility or range here, or you may be able to open up. Might feel a little bit better on the wrists, allowing your forearms to take some of the load here. Just do 1 more each way in your forearm cat-cows. And then come back to stillness, back in your forearm tabletop. Let's curl the right toes under, extend and press that right heel back. Right knee draws off the mat. Curl the left toes under, extend and straighten, press that left heel back. Now in our forearm plank pose, you always have the option to drop down to your knees. We're holding for 3 breaths. While we're here, keep your shoulders over your elbows. Keep drawing the tailbone down towards the heel. Chin is slightly tucked, spinning the inner thighs in and up towards the sky to keep the knees facing down for 1 more breath. And now everyone, let's drop down to your knees. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders back into your tabletop. And now, keeping the toes curled under, lifting the hips up and back, come into your first downward facing dog. You can reposition your arms and legs, keeping the arms shoulder width distance, feet are around hips width distance. And let's take our dog for a walk. It's our first down dog of the day. So you can begin to move and groove your legs. Maybe you lift one heel, maybe you lift the other. Option to lift a leg in the air, maybe you lift the other, opening the hip. Just do what works for you, whatever movement calls to you. You can always drop down to your knees if you need to, and you can still pedal out your feet here as well. Just take 2 more breaths to move. And meet me back in stillness. Let your head hang heavy, pressing those heels back and down. Let's inhale as we gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Bring your feet hips width distance. Stay in your forward fold. Let your head hang heavy. Ragdoll pose. So grab opposite elbows. Bring your biceps next to your ears. With your feet nice and parallel, press down evenly through all 4 sides of the feet. And lift the hips up towards the sky. Your knees can have a slight bend here, resting your chest on your thighs. And if you like, you can gently rock from side to side. Maybe bend one knee a little more than the other. Let's switch whichever forearm is on top. Keep grabbing opposite elbows. And let's come back to stillness. Stay in your forward fold, but release your arms down. We'll come up to standing, but nice and slow. So start by pressing your feet into the mat. Spin the inner thighs in and back. And gently start to lift yourself up, stacking 1 vertebrae at a time. Coming up to standing nice and slow, your chin is the last thing to arrive. All right, once you're up, let's roll those shoulders up and back a couple times. Then begin to slow opposite direction, back and forward. All right, back at the top of your mat, feet are hips width distance, arms down to the sides. Press evenly down through all sides of the feet. Try to engage the kneecaps and lift them up towards your hips to engage these quadriceps. Palms face forward as you release the tailbone down. Draw these frontal hip points up. Soften the shoulders down your back as you broaden through those collarbones. Draw this navel in and up. Chin is parallel with the mat. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. So we'll add a twist while we're standing here. So we want to be mindful of the hips and try and keep them facing forward. We're just going to turn the upper body from the navel up. Begin by extending both arms out to the side, shoulder height, palms face forward. Take a nice deep inhale to prepare. Exhale, twist and turn to the right. Again, turning just from the navel up. Notice how your hips may move. Do you need to draw that left hip back? Maybe the right hip forward. Keep the arms out at shoulder height, palms face away. And then maybe you can turn your neck to look over those right fingertips. I'm looking out at some beautiful waves back behind me. It looks awesome back here. Let's hold for one more breath. And come back to center. Keep the arms nice and wide. Take an inhale to prepare. And exhale, twist and turn to your left. Again, from the navel up. Try to keep the pelvis facing forward. Maybe draw that right hip back, left hip forward. Keep pressing your feet into the mat. Spinning those inner thighs in and back. Maybe you start to turn your neck to look over those left fingertips. Really open through the chest here. Holding for one more breath. And let's come back to center, arms nice and wide. And exhale as you release the arms back down to your sides. All right. If you're not already at the top of the mat, meet me here. Feet are hips width distance. You can always measure, bring two fists together, place them in between your knees or your feet. Just have your feet nice and parallel, heels behind those center toes, arms down to the sides. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. On your inhale, let's raise the arms up overhead, palms face each other, soften the shoulders down away from your ears. Stay here for a breath. Really release that tailbone down, draw the frontal hip points up. Take an exhale as you hinge forward, knees slightly bend, stay in your forward fold. Release your head, crown of the head draws down towards the floor. Fingertips or palms can either come to the mat, shins or thighs, drawing your hips up towards the sky. Now place your hands to the tops of your shins. Inhale, lift halfway. Torso parallel with the mat. Maybe begin to straighten your legs, but extend through all sides of the torso here. You're drawing your tailbone back as you send the crown of your head forward, softening the shoulders away from the ears. And on your exhale, hinge forward back into your forward fold. Knees can slightly bend. Again, soften those shoulders away from the ears as the crown of the head draws down towards the mat. And we'll come back up to standing. Press down through your feet. Inhale, lift the arms out and up overhead. Palms face each other. Stay for a breath. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Pinkies roll in towards each other so the palms face each other. Stay for one more breath. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Let's move that up to one breath, one movement. Inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Palms face each other. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, lift the arms out and up overhead. Palms face each other. And exhale, hands down through center, down to the sides. Let's add on. Inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. This time stay low, plant your palms, shoulder width distance, step your right foot back, step your left foot back. We're in plank pose. Holding plank pose for 3 breaths. You always have the option again to drop down to your knees. Keep firming those triceps in so the elbow creases start to face forward. Fingers are nice and spread, pressing back through the heels, spinning the inner thighs in and up towards the sky. Now let's everyone drop down to your knees. We'll shift forward. We'll bend the elbows lower all the way to the mat, all in one piece. Bring the tops of your feet down. Press the feet down, hips down, and on your inhale, lift the head up, chest up, baby cobra. Holding for a breath here as you draw the elbows in, release the tailbone down towards the heels, send the heart forward, and exhale as you release. Keep the knees down, curl the toes under. Press yourself up into knees down plank pose, and lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Stay in your downward facing dog here. Let your head rest. Maybe you shake it yes. Maybe you turn your head no. Just allow your neck to release here. Now, in your down dog, shorten your stance. So walk your hands back towards your feet, one hand print. So you're in a shortened down dog. We'll add a twist here. So send your right arm to the outside edge of your left leg. You can either send that right arm to the outside of that left calf or left ankle. Maybe you can grab underneath on the outside of that left foot. Now notice how your hips may move, so try to recenter your hips. You can have a slight bend in the knees, sending your hips up towards the sky. Just keep letting your head hang heavy. If you want to add a little more of a twist here, maybe you turn your neck to look underneath that left arm, looking up towards the sky. Keep pressing your heels back and down towards the mat. Maybe you work to straighten your legs here, or maybe you keep your knees bent. Holding for one more breath. Exhale as you gently release back into your shortened down dog. Release the right arm to meet the left. We'll move to the other side. Have a slight bend in your knees and send the left arm to the outside of the right leg this time. So we're twisting across the body. Left arm can either grab around around that right calf, right ankle, or maybe underneath the outside of that right foot. Recenter your hips. Let the head hang heavy. You can stay here, or if you'd like, you can look up underneath that right arm, right armpit, looking up towards the sky. Keep pressing the heels back. Maybe start to straighten the legs. Holding for one more breath. And exhale, gently release back into your down dog. Come back into your full down dog. So walk your hands back forward. One more hand print. Keep pressing the chest back towards the thighs. And let's inhale as you gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Feet hips width distance. Inhale, lifting halfway. And exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, lift the arms out and up. Back up to standing. Arms, palms face each other. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale. Okay, now turn towards the long edge side of your mat and separate your feet out wide, about one leg's distance apart. Feet are still nice and parallel, so heels behind the center toes. Place your hands to your hips to start. Use your thumbs to draw your tailbone down, fingers to lift the frontal hip points up. Press down through the base of each foot evenly and try to lift those kneecaps up towards your hips. Adding a forward fold in our Prasarita Padottanasana, take a nice deep inhale, send your heart to the sky to prepare. And exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Keep firming the thighs in towards each other. Once you lower to about halfway, release your arms down underneath your shoulders. If you have blocks, you can place your hands to blocks. If your arms don't quite reach, you can keep your hands at your hips. Just keep firming the legs in towards each other. Try and draw those kneecaps up. If you'd like, you can slightly tuck your chin to allow your neck to release. Maybe you start to walk your hands back. Keep the fingers facing forward, arms shoulder width distance. Bending the elbows to walk your hands back a little bit further. Shift more weight into the toes, but keep the heels on the mat. Wherever you are, stay for 2 nice, slow, deep breaths. One more breath as you soften the shoulders away from the ears. And now we'll stay low, but walk your hands back out underneath your shoulders and lift halfway. So stay here. Place your left hand, either the palm or the fingertips, directly underneath your face, adding a twist here. So you can have the fingertips or palm rest on the mat or the block right underneath your face. Extend your right arm out to the side, right palm faces down. Take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, twist to the right. Send those right fingertips up to the sky. Holding for a couple breaths here. Keep firming the legs in towards each other. Nice strong foundation. Maybe you start to roll that right pinky towards the front. Palm faces forward. Gaze can look up towards those fingertips, holding for one more breath. And exhale, gently release down. Place the right hand where the left hand was, directly underneath your face, either fingertips or palms to the mat or to a block. Let's extend the left arm straight out from the shoulder, palm faces down. Take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, twist, send the left fingertips up to the sky. Try to keep the hips level, firming the thighs in towards the midline. Maybe you rotate the left pinky edge to face forward so the palm faces forward. Option to turn your neck to look up at those fingertips. Holding for one more breath here. And exhale, gently release. From here, bring your hands back to your hips, slight bend in the knees, and start to straighten the legs as you lift your torso back up to your wide-legged stance. All right, moving into Warrior Two from each side. Starting with this left leg, let's externally rotate so the left toes face the front edge of your mat. Internally rotate this right leg so the right toes face slightly forward. Heel toe this left foot to the middle of the mat so you have heel to arch alignment. Bending the left knee over that left ankle. Square the shoulders to the long edge side of the mat. Extend the arms out nice and long, palms face down. And turn your neck to look over those left fingertips. Making this more dynamic, let's inhale as we straighten the front leg, bring both arms overhead, palms face each other. Exhale, rebend, Warrior Two. 3 more times, just like that. Inhale, straighten, arms overhead. Exhale, rebend, Warrior Two. 2 more times. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, rebend. Last time. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, rebend. We'll settle into our Warrior Two for a couple breaths here. Make sure this left knee tracks towards the pinky side edge of that front foot. If the left knee is too far forward, either shift back or walk those toes a little bit farther forward. Keep rolling this outer left thigh in and under as you press back to the outside edge of that right foot. Soften the shoulders away from the ears as you lift the hips out of the pelvis. Gazes over those left fingertips, holding for one more breath here. Let's reverse our warrior. Bring the right arm to the right thigh. Left palm faces up towards the sky. Take an inhale as you raise the left fingertips up towards the sky. Holding for a breath here. Keep that front knee bend. It always wants to straighten. And then inhale as you lift back up into your Warrior Two. Straighten the front leg. Parallel the feet. Coming back into that wide-legged stance. Releasing the hands back down towards the hips. And we'll move to the other side. So now, right leg externally rotates so those toes face the back edge of your mat. Left leg slightly internally rotates so the toes are slightly farther forward than the heel. Bending the right knee over that right ankle. Square the shoulders to the long edge side. Extend the arms out nice and long, palms face down. And turn your gaze to look over those right fingertips. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale. All right, let's inhale as we straighten that front leg, bring both arms overhead. Exhale, rebend, Warrior Two. 3 more times. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, Warrior Two. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, Warrior Two. 1 more time. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, Warrior Two. Stay low in your Warrior Two. Again, make sure the right knee tracks towards the pinky side edge of that right foot. Heel toe those toes a little bit farther forward if the knee is coming too far forward. Soften those shoulders away from the ears. Roll this right hip in and under as you press back to the outer left edge of that foot, of the left foot. Soften the shoulders away from the ears and try to lift the hips out of the pelvis. Gazes over the right fingertips, hold for 1 more breath. Let's reverse our warrior. Left hand to the left thigh, right palm to the sky. Inhale, raise the fingertips up. Side bend, keeping that front knee bent. And inhale as you lift back up into Warrior Two. Straighten the front leg, bring both hands to the hips, parallel your feet, and heel toe those feet back into hips width distance. And let's shake it out a little bit. All right. Coming back to the top of your mat. Feet hips width distance, arms down to the sides. Moving on to our next sequence, take a nice deep inhale and exhale. Let's press down through our feet. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Stay low. Keep your left foot forward. Step your right leg straight back. Both toes face forward. Drop the right knee down. Make sure the right knee is farther than right underneath the hip. It should be farther back. Left knee tracks over that left ankle. Pressing down through your feet. Release your right palm or fingertips directly underneath that right shoulder and extend the left arm out to the side. Palm faces down. Take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, twist from the navel up. Bring the left fingertips up to the sky. Try to roll the pinky side edge forward so the palm faces towards the front edge of your mat. Keep firming the thighs in towards each other. Maybe the gaze comes up towards those fingertips. Holding for one more breath. Now keep the arms just as they are. Press down through the feet. Be nice and stable. And lift your torso up. So we're coming up into a twisted low lunge here. So the pelvis still faces towards the front edge of your mat while the shoulders face the long edge side. We're holding for one more breath, palms face away. Now keep the low body just as it is. Turn the upper body to face forward and bring both arms overhead, palms face each other. Anjaneyasana. Biceps next to ears. Keep drawing that left hip back as the right hip draws forward. Release the tailbone down, draw the frontal hip points up. If you'd like, you can add a back bend or stay right here. If you're coming with me for your back bend, keep releasing that tailbone down. Imagine there's a string at the center of your chest, lifting you up towards the sky. Keep lifting out of your hips as you try to round your back, sending a nice arch. Keep your heart drawing up towards the sky. Maybe send your hips forward, holding for one more breath. And exhale, lifting back up to center, releasing the fingers and the palms down to either side of that left foot. Right toe curled under. Step the right foot up to meet the left foot, hips width distance. Inhale, lifting halfway, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Stay low. Keep the right foot forward. Step the left leg back. Drop the left knee down. Again, make sure that left knee is back farther behind the hip, but keep the right knee on top of the right ankle. Pressing down through the feet. Release the left fingertips or palm directly underneath that left shoulder. Right arm out to the side, palm faces down. Take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, send those right fingertips up to the sky, add your twist. So again, low body stays just as it is, twisting and turning from the navel up. Roll the pinky side edge forward so the palm faces forward. Maybe the gaze comes up towards the fingertips. Keep firming the thighs in towards the midline. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. All right, we'll lift up by pressing down through the feet and lift your torso up, shoulders parallel to the mat, facing the long edge side of your mat. So the hips still face forward while the shoulders face the long edge side. Both palms face out, holding for one more breath here. Keep the low body just as it is. Turn to face towards the front. Bring both arms overhead. Anjaneyasana here. Keep drawing that right hip back, left hip forward. Keep the right knee tracking over the right ankle. Release the tailbone down. Lift the frontal hip points up. Staying here, if you want to add your back bend, keep the biceps next to the ears. Release the tailbone down. Imagine there's a string at the center of your chest, lifting you up towards the sky. Imagine a nice, long, circular arch in your back. Keep lifting out of your hips. Maybe you send the hips forward. Heart to the sky. Hold for one more breath. And inhale as you lift back up to center. Exhale, release both arms to either side of that right foot. Press back to the left heel, lift the left knee up. Step the left foot up to meet the right foot. Let's inhale as we lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, lift the arms out and up overhead. Palms face each other. And exhale, hands down through center. All right, coming into our Malasana squat. So separate your legs out a little bit wider. Toes face out, heels face in. Bring your hands to the center of your chest. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale, drop your tailbone down. Keep your heart up as you bend your knees, lower down Malasana here. You can leave your hips up if you can't come all the way down. If you have a block or two, you can always place that underneath your tailbone as well. Place the palms in towards each other. Press into them as you bring your triceps to the insides of your knees. Try to keep the entire feet on the mat, holding for one more breath. And now release the hands behind you and gently come down onto your seat. Keep your knees bent out in front of you. Now extend both legs long, flexing both feet. Bring this right knee into your chest. Bring the bottom of the foot to the mat. Now, raise the left arm up to the sky. And on your exhale, release the left arm across your body. Grab the outside of your right foot. So left arm, grab the outside of your right foot, lifting that right foot to the sky. Now begin to straighten this right leg straight forward. So the leg straightens. The bottom of the foot faces forward. And now we'll add our twist. So extend the right arm out behind you, shoulder width height, palm faces away. Keep the pelvis facing forward as you turn from the navel up. Maybe you turn your neck to look over those right fingertips. Try to keep that front leg straight. You're still flexing those left toes with the left heel on the mat. Hold for one more breath. And let's inhale as we turn back to center, releasing the foot down, releasing the left hand from the right foot. Place both arms beside your hips and extend both legs nice and long. Switching to the other side. So keep that right foot flexed, but bend the left knee into your chest. Release the bottom of the left foot to the mat. This time, bring the right arm across your body. Grab the outside of that left foot. From here, begin to straighten that left leg straight forward. And then add your left arm. Keep it up at shoulder height as you twist from the navel up. Send the left arm behind you, palm faces away. Keep flexing those right toes, drawing them back towards your thigh. Maybe you can open your chest a little bit more, turning your neck to look over those left fingertips. Keep pressing the bottom of that left foot into the right palm, holding for one more breath. And inhale as you come back to center. Exhale, release the foot down. Place both arms behind you. Let's cross the legs. Come forward into tabletop. Send the legs out behind you. Come into your plank pose, shoulders over wrists. Holding plank pose just for a breath here. And now let's lift the hips up and back into our downward facing dog. From here, let's inhale as we gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Feet hips width distance. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, lift the arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. All right. Final sequence here. Let's bring the big toes to touch, heels separate. Arms down to the side. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale. Chair pose. Knees bend, hips come forward, hips go back, arms come forward. Biceps next to ears, palms face each other. Make sure you can gaze down and see your toes. Keep firming the thighs in towards each other. Knees and feet stay connected. Now, adding a twist here, so keeping the low body just as it is. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, twist to the right. Open the right arm out behind you. So again, draw that left hip back if it came forward. Both palms face away, shoulder width height. Maybe you turn your neck to look over those right fingertips. Keep holding for one more breath. Weight is in the heels. And let's inhale back to center, chair pose, biceps next to ears. And exhale, twist to your left this time. Send the left arm behind, both arms at shoulder height, palms face away. Keep drawing that right hip back. As you open the chest, maybe you turn the neck to look over those left fingertips. Hold for one more breath. Inhale back to center in your chair pose. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Stay for a breath here in your forward fold. Let's place your hands to the tops of your shins, lifting halfway, nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms. Keep your left foot forward, step your right leg back. Option this time to release the right knee down or keep the right knee lifted, pressing back through the right heel. Place the right fingertips or palm back underneath that right shoulder. Left arm extends out to the side, palm faces down. Take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, twist from the navel up, left fingertips to the sky. Roll the pinky side edge forward so the palm faces forward. Keep pressing back through the right heel. Firm the thighs in towards the midline. And now we'll raise our torso up. So press down through your feet. Whether your knee is down or up, press down. And on your inhale, lift the torso up. Lift both arms up, shoulder width height. So the pelvis and knees and toes are facing forward as the shoulders face towards the long edge side of your mat. Now let's inhale, bring your torso back to center, both arms overhead. So you're either in your high or low lunge. Staying here or adding your back bend. So take a nice deep inhale to prepare. And exhale, start to send your heart up towards the sky. Keep drawing that left hip back, right hip forward. Imagine there's a string at the center of your chest. Hold for one more breath. And exhale, everyone spiral both arms forward and down. Send that front foot to meet the back foot. Everyone drop down to your knees, shift forward, bend the elbows back, lower all the way to the mat. Tops of the feet to the mat, press your feet down, hips down. Inhale, lift up into your back bend. Holding for a breath as you release your tailbone down, draw the elbows in towards each other. Exhale, gently release. Curl the toes under, keep the knees down, lift up into your plank pose, and lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale as you gaze forward, bend the knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Big toes touch, heels separate. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, forward fold, stay low. This time, keep your right foot forward, step your left leg back. Same option, keep that left knee up or down. Left fingertips or palm come underneath that left shoulder. Right arm straight out to the side, palm faces down. Firm the legs in towards each other. Take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, right fingertips to the sky. Add your twist. Try to roll the pinky side edge forward so the palm faces forward. Gaze can come up towards this right fingertips. Try to get a little bit lighter on that left arm as you press down through your feet. Take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift the torso up. Keep the pelvis facing forward with the shoulders facing towards the long edge side of your mat. Firm the thighs in towards each other. Hold for one more breath. And exhale as you turn your chest back to center. Bring both arms overhead, palms face each other. And exhale to settle in. Adding your back bend if you'd like. Draw the tailbone down, lift the frontal hip points up. Take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, send the heart up towards the sky. Keep releasing the tailbone down. Maybe the gaze comes up. Holding for one more breath wherever you are. Exhale, spiral both arms forward and down. Send the front foot to meet the back foot. Drop your knees down, shift forward, bend the elbows, lower all the way down to the mat. Top to the feet to the mat, press your feet down, hips down. Inhale, lift up into your back bend. Last baby cobra here, keep releasing the tailbone down. Exhale, gently release. Keep the knees down, curl the toes under. Press up into your plank pose, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Stay here for 2 or 3 breaths. Keep pressing your chest back towards your thighs, pressing the heels back and down. Or one more breath here. And now gently shift forward as you lower your knees to the ground. Bring the tops of the feet to the mat. Send your hips back towards your heels, child's pose. Make it your child's pose if you prefer to have your knees out wide or your big toes touching. Whatever works for you, just release your forehead down. You can extend your arms straight out, or if you like to bring them back towards your ankles, have the backs of your hands with the palms facing up. Just allow yourself to release here. Take some nice, slow, deep breaths. One more slow, deep breath here. Now, everyone extend your arms straight out. Lift your hips up off your heel. Lift your forehead up. Send your legs off to the side. Come to a seat. with your legs out in front of you. Now start with your legs extended out, and notice with your legs extended out, do you feel like you're falling back? If so, you can wrap up your mat or sit on a block or a towel just to give you a little bit of elevation to keep your spine nice and long. Once you've found your seat, let's bend both knees. Bring the bottoms of the feet into touch, Baddha Konasana, allowing the knees to fall out to the sides. Root down through your sit bones, rise up through the crown of your head to create a nice long spine. Now your hands can rest either underneath and forward of your shins or your feet. Just trying to draw your knees down to allow your hips to open and settle here. Allow your low back to settle as well. If this is enough for you, you can stay right here. Otherwise, we'll add our forward fold. So take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Keep that nice long spine. Send the heart towards the toes. So if you feel like you're rounding too much here, try to root down through your sit bones and send the crown of your head forward. You have a slight tuck of the chin, but try to keep that nice long spine. So avoid rounding too much here. You can walk your hands out further. Palms and forearms stay shoulder width distance wherever you are. Just hold for 3 or 4 slow, deep breaths here. Two more breaths. Let's begin to walk our hands back in. Lift your chest back up. Use your hands underneath your knees to draw your knees back to hips width distance. Re-extend your legs long. If you're on your mat, keep your feet up towards the top of your mat. Use your hands to send your hips up towards the front, and we'll lower onto our backs. You can either hold onto your shins or your thighs. If you really want to challenge yourself, extend your arms straight out, palms face forward, and gently start to lower onto your spine. Go as slow as you can. Use your abdominal muscles to slow you down. Once you come all the way down onto your back, keep your knees bent. Bring your heels back underneath your knees. Arms down to the side. We'll come back into the bridge pose. We'll have two options here. This time we'll hold. So arms down to the sides, palms face down. Make sure your knees and your feet are hips width distance. Press down through your feet. Take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift your hips up, pelvis up, chest up into your bridge pose. Keep pressing your triceps down. Lift your chest up a little bit higher. Spin the inner thighs in and down towards the ground to keep the knees hips width distance. They always want to separate out. Try to draw the tailbone towards the backs of the knees to keep the spine nice and long. Holding for one more breath. And exhale, gently release from the top of your spine, middle of the back, below back, last to arrive. All right, we have the option to repeat that, or you can bind your hands underneath your back for this next bridge pose. So take an inhale to prepare as you press down through your feet. Exhale, lift your hips up, pelvis up, chest up, bridge pose. Option to stay here, or if you'd like to move on, roll your triceps under and interlace your fingers underneath your back. Bring the wrists together, try to straighten the arms. And the idea is to draw the pinkies towards the mat. Maybe you roll your triceps under a little bit more. Wherever you are, keep spinning those inner thighs in and down, drawing the tailbone towards the backs of the heels. Lift the chest up a little bit higher for one more breath. And exhale, release the clasp of your hands, arms out to the side. Gently start to roll down from the top of your spine, middle of the back, low back, last to arrive. Bring your knees to touch, separate your feet out to the width of the mat, and gently let your knees rock from side to side. Just be very slow and mindful here, allowing your low back to release. We spent all of practice really strengthening and bringing some awareness to that area, so just be very gentle. Now let's come back to center. Bring your knees and your feet back to hips width distance. Hug your knees back into your chest. Now, option here when we have our spinal twist, just like when we began practice. So keep your knees and your feet together, knees over your hips, shins parallel to the mat with the feet flexed. You can start with this and extend your arms out to the side, palms face up, either to a T or a field goal post. Have your knees bent, or you have the option to straighten your legs. It might be a little more intense this way. So whatever you choose, draw your navel in and down. Take a nice deep inhale to prepare. Exhale, let the knees and the legs fall off to the right. So that left hip is going to come up, but we're staying here for a couple breaths. Wherever your legs decide to fall, at least have your knees up at hip height. If that left shoulder popped up off the mat, reroute down that left shoulder. And now you have the option to turn your neck to look over those left fingertips. Just stay in your spinal twist for 3 slow, deep breaths here. Whatever option you choose, just try to soften, let gravity do the work here. Now let's turn our gaze back up to center. Use your abdominal muscles to lift your legs back up to center. Knees stay bent or legs nice and long as you drop your legs off to the left side this time. Try to keep the knees at least up at hips height. Feet are flexed. If that right shoulder popped up off the mat, reroute down that right shoulder. And then you have the option to turn your neck to look over those right fingertips. Stay here and breathe for 3 slow, deep breaths. Last breath here. Turn your gaze back to center. Use your abdominal muscles to lift yourself back to center. And then bend your knees, draw your knees in towards your chest. Gently rock from side to side a couple times. Last little massage of that low back. And let's actually come back to center and stillness. Separate the knees out wide, happy baby pose. So flex the feet, bring the bottoms of the feet to face up towards the sky. Arms can either wrap around your thighs, around your shins, or if they grab the outsides of your feet, have the elbows to the insides of your knees. Draw the tailbone back down towards the mat. Try to keep your shoulders on the mat. Draw the knees and the bottoms of the feet towards the mat. You can stay here or you can gently rock from side to side. All right, let's come back to stillness in the center. Release the clasp of your feet or your legs. Bring your knees back into the center of your chest, hugging them in one last time. Let's lift the shoulders and the back of the head off the mat. Come into an egg shape. Squeeze everything together for a breath here. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And exhale, release. Extend the legs long. Extend the arms long overhead. Point the toes away from your body. Extend the fingertips nice and long. One last full body stretch here. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And exhale, release. Arms down to the sides. Palms face up. Let your legs be long. Knees and the feet fall out to the side. Release into your final pose of practice, Shavasana. Option to begin to soften your gaze or close your eyes completely as you release. Allow yourself to totally surrender to your mat, knowing that your job is done here. Breathing and softening into any last little bits of tension you may have in your body. Let your shoulders be heavy. Ease your knees and your feet. Maybe soften the muscles in your face and your jaw. And finally, release any control you have over the breath. Just be. Now let's begin to bring some awareness back into your body. You can wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rotate your wrists and your ankles. Switch directions in those rotations. And come back to stillness for one last breath here on your back. Now gently begin to bend your knees in towards your chest as you roll over to one side of your body. Let your top arm rest on your bottom, top knee rest on your bottom knee. Stay for a breath here on your side. Now try to keep your eyes softened or your gaze closed as you use your top arm to press yourself up into a comfortable cross-legged seated position to complete your practice today. In your seat, you can rest your palms on tops of your knees. Palms can face up or bring your hands into the center of your chest. Let's all take a nice deep inhale in together. Through the mouth, exhale. Thank you for joining me for your practice today. The light and love in me acknowledges and honors the light and love in each one of you. Thank you. Peace. All right. I'm so grateful for all of you who tuned in for class today. I hope you feel great. And my apologies for running class a little bit long. I think I went 5 or 10 minutes over. It's too nice out here this morning, so I wanted to keep going. I could teach class all day out here. So thank you so much. Again, my name is Daniel. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the chat, in the comments, or more of my info is in the video description. If you'd like to donate to help fight social and racial justice, That link is in the description as well. But I hope you really enjoy. If you're watching this as it releases Friday evening around 7 p.m., I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Otherwise, whatever day you're watching, just enjoy yourself, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you next time in class. Again, my name is Daniel with Daniel Lee Yoga. Thank you and peace.